Streng ham dagens sneen vid. Ching chang ching
Welcome to the topic of the episode show, as we call it, TOTES. And this week's topic, because we give you a topic every week and you tell us what your favorite things of the topic are.
Yeah.
And this week's topic are magic and magic
Yes.
systems. Is magic and magic systems.
Well, specifically spells, like
Yeah.
some of your favorite spells. Like one of the classic ones that's kind of borrowed from last week's. They were talking about Chris was talking about the gun that turns things into sheep. Polymorph
Yes.
from the Warcraft series. Has always been, because like you can get this massive new it's a troll. Nope, you're a sheep.
You're a sheep now.
Sucker.
I love doing that in World of Warcraft, because you'd be on the battlefield in battlegrounds or whatever, and there's a really cool way to control the battle. Instead of like, oh, I'm gonna kill this thing, it's like, all right, you're a sheep now, I'm gonna deal with all this other stuff, and when you pop, then I'll go deal with you. And if you do it the right way, you can kind of juggle enemies that way.
Okay.
I think polymorph is really cool. One of my favorite ones, and I know this is crazy simple, but Diablo, the wall of flame that you could do in that, I just love that. It's so simple. It's so simple. But the idea of here's a line and any enemies who come through here are getting burned, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
When it comes to magic in general, though, there's a specific game that I think has done magic in an amazing way that no one talks about except for me, and I'll keep talking about it because I want a sequel. Two Worlds 2. Okay, so Two Worlds was horrible. Two Worlds 2 wasn't very good, but the magic system in this game was amazing because it was mix and match cards that you collect, and then you combine those cards to make a spell. You don't have an AoE fire spell. You have two cards you match up, and then you have that. Or if you do it certain ways, you can end up getting a third into it if you add this, remove this, put something back.
Right, but you like manipulatable systems.
Yes, so that you could manipulate the system, and the spells interacted with each other in interesting ways. And one of the ways you could do that was you could set up so, like, for instance, the kind of the normal elemental kind of stuff. So you have like rock, you have lightning and fire and rock, right? Earth. So the earth one, you could create like stones, and you could take those stones, you could throw them at people. Like you could create a spell that would throw them at, or you could create a spell that would drop them in a specific area.
Yeah.
Or you can create a spell that drops them around you, because it's the principle of I want an AoE around me. Like maybe I want ice all around me, right? Well, if you do stone all around you, it just drops some stones.
Right.
Okay, but then if you do a whirlwind AoE around you, those stones get picked up and they start knocking into people. So it's not a really cool combination.
It's a really cool combination. I like the spells. I had difficulty remembering the formulas for each one.
Yeah.
And like putting those in while you're trying to run away from this big bad that's chasing you.
You don't have to put them in. You just have to select them. Unless you're sitting there removing cards in battle.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Two Worlds 2.
I thought you were talking about Magicka. Magicka is a similar system that I like. That was one where you could have up to 5 spells.
Oh.
And so if you put in like rock fire, then it would be like lava rocks and stuff.
Oh, no.
Okay, so like I'm sorry. I was listening, I promise. And I heard you talk about Two Worlds 2, but then
You thought I was going
No, I thought you would switch.
No.
Because what you were describing sounded like Magicka.
No, because when you get cards, you get them from vendors, you get them from quests, you get them from however.
Okay.
And then you'll have a card that's like, here's the effect, missile effect, right? And then you go, okay, I take fire and I put in a missile, and then I throw a missile.
See, okay, so if I could make them more like that and have like hotkeys for them.
It was basically hotkeying.
But like Magicka has different hotkeys, different elements for the shoulder buttons and for the face buttons while you're trying to run around with the other buttons.
See, this was like,
and it was chaos.
This was like basically hotkeyed spells, and you couldn't use the card more than once. So if you get multiple fire cards, you can stack those. That's more fire damage.
Right.
Or you can spread it out if you want to have multiple fire spells. But there were other ones you could create, like a trap. You can create a trap spell, so it's like, all right, we target that area. If something goes in, fire.
Right.
Or you could create a thing where it's a fireball that when it hits something, that it then shoots fireballs out of it. So it was this really cool, like, manipulable system in a mediocre game. And I absolutely love it. I would love to see another game take that and run with it. Steal it. Piracy.
We have some responses from the community. We've got Jake. He says, group hug from Super Mario RPG. Healing your whole party a decent amount. You will find it the most used spell in Toadstool's arsenal. Yeah. Peach is wonderful for that, and she's especially essential to like a quick run through because group hug is so useful. And I like those kind of spells. He says more serious spell though is Meteor from Final Fantasy because throwing space rocks around is a good time.
Oh yeah, a lot of Final Fantasy ones. A lot of the summons I really enjoy.
See, I would go ahead and count summons as a spell in that instance because they don't go around with you. You basically say, hey, this is what's happening now.
Yeah, and Eris's heal is another one of those I used constantly. There's a lot of like ultimates that were really cool, but her ultimate was great. It was a free heal. I mean, who doesn't like a free heal?
Yeah.
I also like the Diablo system when it came. I know we're talking like spells in general, but like I liked how in Diablo you could grab different tomes as you go through.
Yeah.
And in Diablo 1 and 2. And then if you found the book, then you got the spell. If you didn't find the book, you didn't get the spell. So it's the more wizard aspect instead of a sorcerer, if you want to go D&D about it.
Which we always do.
Yeah, so it's the more wizard, like I need to be scholarly and research this.
Speaking of D&D, apparently it's a thing now on like dating websites. You would put D&D free, which means drug and disease.
Oh.
Find a new acronym.
Yeah.
We've had that one for a long time.
Come on.
D&D means Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
If you are D&D free, I don't want you. If you're drug and disease free, that's a different story.
So, yeah, I was going to say, because if I was on a dating website, which I wouldn't be on, but if I was on one...
Yeah, I had a friend who was telling me about that.
Then whichever way is to not like the person, I would swipe that way. Because if they're like D&D free, I'm like, I don't want that in my life.
Well, not only that, but like that is an unusual level of aggression for something that really
That's what I thought
optional.
You were going to mention. Like D&D free, MTG free. Like they're like, I don't want Dungeons and Dragons. I don't want Magic the Gathering. Like that's what I thought.
Had issues at that point.
That's what I thought. Like maybe she had a history.
Okay, so what you were saying about Diablo though?
Yeah.
I really liked the way that they had the spells where like they built to something else and they did something similar in Kingdoms of Amalur. They built up, so like you would get like a little ice spell, and then you would get like an ice spear, and then you would get this massive blizzard thing, and like it built, and then every point that you put into that tree built up your overall cold power. And we're not talking about systems here, but I'm running the show, so I can introduce that as an element. Elements. But I really like spell systems that are kind of insular and build on themselves. I really liked, again in Diablo 2, the slow spell.
Yeah.
Which I'm also really enjoying in Neo, because that sloth spell, I mean, if I've got a companion, I got 2 casts of sloth.
Yep.
We got this.
Yeah. I like the sloth spell. It's maybe one of my favorites in a recent game.
Well, it's also OP as anything.
Yes.
But I don't really like fighting bosses. Like, I like the levels, and so it allows me to play my favorite parts of the game and skip the rest.
Yeah, and the one thing that I liked about it was that it slows it down, but it's not game breaking because when you do that they're like, if you have an enemy that's about to punch you, they can still move and punch you.
Yeah.
Their pivot is still in there. The tracking pivot's still in there, which I thought was cool because I like and I don't like, because like it's hard to evade certain enemies that way. The big licker, if you will, I can't remember his name.
Purple licker.
So that guy is really hard because if you get really close to him, he's already slow moving anyways.
New name for that guy, Purple Drank.
Purple Drank.
So he's Purple Liquor.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. So when I honestly have gotten to the point where I do not use it on him because he's really slow.
The side swipe is so hard to dodge when he's moving slow.
So I've gotten to the point where I just don't use it on him. But the sloth one is really cool because, like you said, you can get in, I'd say 3 to 4 times the amount of hits that you would normally be able to get in after a dodge, like in between an attack, which is amazing. It is completely OP, but it does allow you to kind of enjoy that aspect.
And they only allow you to cast it twice per life.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's good stuff. Some more comments. He said, Alex says, I could wax poetic about dots in BC era. Wow. And I love damage over time spells. Damage over time spells are the best. I played a Necromancer back in EverQuest, and okay, so let me finish his, and then I'm gonna jump over to EverQuest and tell you about some really cool stuff I did. He said Warlock and Hunter dots were incredibly satisfying to use, especially in PvP, where people would frantically move around for advantages, and then just die.
Yep.
I like spells that you can use creatively. When I was playing a Necromancer in EverQuest, like this is forever ago.
Yeah.
It was probably 98 or so. Like we had,
EverQuest came out in 99, right? 98 or 99?
no,
Pretty sure
that can't be right. But anyway, so when we were playing that,
You were playing that as a Necromancer.
I was playing that as a Necromancer, and so like most of my spells are damage over time and life leech and stuff like that. But I had 3 life link spells that I could use to heal people. Nice. And so like we had parties where they would be like, oh, we can't go anywhere, we need a healer, and I'm like, actually, nobody does this. You've never seen anybody do this before, but I got this. And so like I'm in skeleton form, so I'm constantly dying anyway.
Yeah.
I'm leeching my life consistently to the main guy, and I can set up multiple life links, so I can be drained from multiple sources simultaneously.
And you're going to die anyways because, you're in skeletal form.
Right. And I've got these little... and so I have to constantly leech off of enemies. So if we're not fighting, I'm in trouble.
That's
which makes it so that we have to keep moving, have to keep going, and everything. And then I'm also able to, if I find time between casts, I'm able to create these little gems that I can use for quick emergency heals. Okay. And I like that. And it was so difficult, and it was so wonderful because consistently, whenever that happened, nobody had ever seen that before. They were like, you're a Necromancer, you can't heal us. Yeah.
Well, it's like me as a Shadow Priest. Before Shadow Priest became a thing, like before it became viable.
Yeah, you're right.
99.
EverQuest came out in 1999.
I know that because the beta was out in fall of my freshman year in high school. Was when the beta was coming out, and I remember talking about wanting to play this game, and my computer couldn't run it. I got into the beta, and my computer couldn't run it.
That is unfortunate.
So I didn't get to play it because my computer couldn't run it.
I actually had a character that had 6 months in-game time.
That's amazing. It's amazing. So let us know what some of your favorite magic systems are, or magic spells in general. Some of your favorite stories, any creative moments and really cool stories. Let us know those in the comments. We'll talk to you later.